What is up, gamers? FCast and Chill here. So it's been a while since my last video, but now I've hit 1,000 solo challenge mode CoX raids, and I'm gonna show you some of the stuff I got from that. Yeah, I've just been doing so many CoX lately, just spending my life with CoX as usual, and I find it hard to believe that I've already done 1,000. It was actually less than 4 months ago. I was at about 100 kill count. So yeah, I've done almost 900 in under 4 months, which is kind of wild. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've gotten some loot, and you know, I'm actually in the top 50 now on the Iron Man high scores, so that's pretty neat too. You can see me right here. And let's go ahead and show and start where the loot started from last time. So after the 750 kill count from the last video, this is where the collection log was at. So you can see I'm still missing the pet, as well as the twisted bow, of course. My ancestral top, and the elder maul. And then this is the loot from last time. So this loot does include all the normal solos as well, which is why it's a bit more than 750, but we were at 2.18 bill before, so not too bad of a chunk of change, but we'll see how high that ends up once we get to the 1,000 mark. Before I actually dive into showing the loot from the 1,000 kill count though, I have some interesting stuff to talk about. So I've actually been doing some CoX science over the past month or so, and essentially what I've been doing is trying to mess around with the different rooms and figure out how I can get more points per raid. Essentially, you know, like the points that you get in each raid are what determine how what your chances of getting a purple at the end or a unique item. And if I'm able to do different strategies in some of the rooms to increase the points per hour that I'm getting, then it's beneficial to do that. And so I actually have changed how I run CoX a little bit. Before, my deathless raids were giving me about a 1 in 14.2 chance of a purple, and after my changes, now I'm getting about a 1 in 13.4 chance, which is decent improvement. That said, now my kill counts are taking me an extra 2.5 minutes, but I do think that this is worth it. Overall, I'd be getting slightly more purples per hour on average, but let me actually talk about these changes. So the first thing that I've changed is actually pretty simple. It's just with the Ice Demon room. So for Ice Demon, every time you chop some wood and burn it on the braziers, you get a decent amount of points. And so what I've started doing now is first I will get the Malignant Root planks from the scavenger and build the stash so I have extra space. Then I will actually chop 5 inventories of wood, all consecutively, storing them in the chest. And then I will actually run and burn all 5 at once. And I burn them on the same brazier because that makes it so Ice Demon doesn't spawn as quickly. If you split up and burn the 5 inventories on the different braziers, he'll come out and start attacking you before you can finish. But yeah, I'll just burn all 5 of those, and you can see I'm already at like 8,500 points after doing that, even before the Ice Demon fight starts. So pretty huge, actually. This gives me around an extra 2,500 or so points at the cost of being about 2 minutes slower on average. So again, it is worth it, but just barely. So the other change that I've actually made is at the Guardians room. So it's interesting that, you know, within raids, the amount of points that you can get from a certain action is capped for all the actions except for one. And the one that's not is the getting pushed back from Guardians. So you can see in this video here, I actually have, you know, me just running into the wall here with one of the Guardians alive. And every time I try to go through the wall, I'm getting knocked back, taking some damage, and you can see I actually get 58 points each time. And so you can do this indefinitely. The problem is, you know, you are going to run out of supplies to, you know, you need brews to stay alive as you're doing this. And if you do it too much, then you'll actually have to prep more brews, run back to the chest and get them, and so on. So it's not actually worth it to just keep doing this over and over again with refilling your inventory. And so this is what I was testing here. You know, I brought a full inventory of brews and just tried spamming it to see how many points per hour I was getting, and it was not worth it. However, you can actually, if you come into the Guardians room with full health, so that is, you know, you can see I'm already overloaded here and I have 118 health as I'm coming down to this floor. what I've been doing now is I'll kill off the first guardian as normal, and then after that, then as I'm killing the second, in between attacks, I'll run up to the passage to try to go through, and then I can get knocked back. But my attack's on delay anyway, so it's not slowing me down too much. And so I'll do this to squeeze out just a little bit of extra points. And this is absolutely worth it. It gives you essentially some free points with barely slowing you down. That said, you know, the max hit that you can get from either the Guardians itself or the rocks that are falling is a 29 if you have your Protect from Melee on. And so essentially what I'll do is I'll just keep doing this until my health gets down below 29. So you can see I got to 27 there. So now I back off and then just fight the Guardian as normal and finish it up. And that's really it. Just those two small changes, like I said, have, you know, given me somewhere around an extra like 3,500 points per raid, something kind of crazy like that. And that does make a difference. I mentioned before, my average for a deathless raid now, instead of being 1 in 14.2 for a purple, now it's about 1 in 13.4. Interestingly enough, this changes the T-bow drop rate from about 1 in 491 or so to about 1 in 464. So again, not life-changing or anything, but hey, every little bit counts, and I am going to be doing this from here on out until I get to my 2,000 kill count or my T-bow, whichever comes first. But enough talk about science and investigating CoX point methods. Let's get into what you guys are here to see, and that is going to be the loot. So let's go ahead and kick it off, starting at kill count 751. And if you remember from last time, we were on a decent dry streak. The last purple that we got was an arcane at 728. So let's get to it. And here at 774, we got our first loot of the video, but it's not actually a purple, it's just a twisted kit. Again, these are useless since I already have, I think, 16 now, including this one. But still, you know, something at least worth mentioning. And yet another kit at 787 here. This is actually my longest purple dry streak that I'm on right now ever by far. So hopefully we can end it soon. We're already at 59 kills since my last purple, but let's just keep going. And at 795, we are at another twisted kit. Again, still really long dry streak, coming up on 70 kills almost since my last purple. And finally, just a couple kill count later, at 797, I got a Dexterous Prayer Scroll. Since my prior one was at 728, that actually makes it 69 raids from the last purple. You know, 69, funny. But yeah, not my favorite purple to see, but at least it's some bond money, better than an arcane. And we got another Ancestral hat at 803 pretty soon after. Again, you know, I'm still missing the Ancestral top, and I've gotten quite a few pieces of Ancestral now, so pretty disappointing, but it is good bond money, so I can't complain too much. And we got a back-to-back with another Arcane Prayer Scroll. That's absolutely my favorite. And then 3 kill count later, we got another Dex Prayer Scroll. So I guess it's kind of making up for that dry streak I had, but again, just some junk that I already had a million copies of by now. And yet another Dex Scroll at 827. And another Dex Scroll at 837. We got another twisted kit at 858, which again, these are 1 in 75, and I'm coming up on 20 of them now, which is wild. But yeah, we're just gonna keep going. And we got yet another dex scroll at 860. Again, this is kind of insane how many prayer scrolls I'm getting. Just seems to be all dex right now. But at least it's better than arcanes, right? They're worth about 10 times as much. And after yet another extremely long dry streak of 47 kills, we got my second pair of claws. Kind of surprising that I didn't have a second pair by now, but claws are pretty decent. Already had them, but they're worth quite a bit. I think they're over 90 million, so yeah, pretty nice. At least it's a lot of bonds, and I'm actually getting to the point where I could drop trade all this stuff and buy a T-bow on my main if I wanted to. Oh, no way. Okay, finally, at 922, I finally got something new. You can see the collection log pop up. This is my first new collection log slot in months, literally. And it's not the most useful one, but I already have the dust, so the pet, I'm excited. It's gonna be pretty cool to have an omelet pet following me around. And it's actually funny too, I got it with the twisted buckler, as you can see here. So I did get a twisted bomblet, just not the bow version. I guess twisted bucklet is what people call it. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm happy that I got the pet now finally. This is actually my first pet in RuneScape that I've gotten after getting to the drop rate. So I guess it's my first not spooned pet that I've gotten. But yeah, or at least boss-wise, I've gotten some skilling pets that weren't spooned. But anyway, gonna keep going. Pretty cool. Gonna bring some of the different variations of omelet along with me from now on. And 20 kill count later at 942, we got a dex scroll yet again. Another dex scroll at 946. That's pretty cool, man. $955, another dex scroll. That's like 7 decks in a row or something wild. I'm not even getting arcanes anymore, which again, I'm not gonna complain about too much, but I really wish I could get something other than prayer scrolls. Okay, here at 961, this is my 5th Dragon Hunter crossbow. So it is a bow, not the one I wanted, but it's all good. Gonna keep going. And yet another dex scroll. And then here at 976, I got my 3rd pair of claws. Got some F's in the chat there, you could see, but again, worth a lot, but not what I wanted. It's almost coming up on 1,000, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, and we actually got a back-to-back here with another dex scroll right after those claws. Pretty wild. I'm getting some insanely long dry streaks followed by, clusters of purples, but they all seem to be dex scrolls. And at 995 here, we got yet another twisted kit. Seems like I'm getting a ridiculous amount of those. But yeah, let's wrap up the 1,000. And here I am wrapping up Ulm number 1,000, and looks like we got a white light, some blood runes, and ran our weed. But that's okay, we got the 1,000. Pretty huge accomplishment. I've been spending so much time here. If you remember, these on average, especially after now my new modifications, the kills are taking 48 or 49 minutes on average, so kind of wild. But we're gonna come up here and claim our new cape. So I think it's called Xeric Sentinel. He's saying, of course I've earned it. So let's go ahead and take that. And there's the collection log pop-up for Xeric Sentinel. Less than 50 Iron Man and all of old school RuneScape have this cape. So that's pretty neat. Collection log slot 537 for me. And let's try it on and see how it looks. And that is a sexy looking cape. Again, less than 50 people have this for the Iron Man game mode. Has a nice X on the back. X as in no T-bows, you know, that's what it represents. But yeah, halfway to 2,000 somehow. This is kind of wild. I thought there was no way in hell I still wouldn't have my T-bow by now, but that's okay. You know, we're just gonna keep going. I am gonna say, you know, I have been neglecting doing a lot of other stuff in the game while doing this grind lately. I still haven't done Desert Treasure 2 or the new quest, Path of Glowfree or whatever the hell it is. So I'll probably try knocking those out. I might even try grinding some Vardorvis at some point. I am still gonna make CMs my main priority, but I'm not going to, you know, prevent myself from doing anything else in game. You know, these CMs, they take up a lot of supplies too. I have to constantly be going back to Corrupted Gauntlet for shards for my crystal armor, Zulrah for scales, you know, and Vorkath for dragon bolts, but that's okay. But anyway, here's the collection log that I'm at now with the 1,000 kills. So you can see I have several dupes of everything that I own except for the Kodai. And I still only have one mega rare drop out of the Kodai, Emol, and T-bow after 1,000, which is wild. And still no ancestral top. So still pretty disappointing. You could actually see here, this is an update since my last new purple that I didn't have before, not counting the pet. So you can see from 349 kill count to now, I have gotten no new unique items other than the pet and dust. Which, if you think about that 650 kill count, that's a little depressing, but at the same time, I'm halfway to the 2K, so I'm not gonna complain. Yeah, it's a little wild. And then here's my loot from all 1,000 kills, including my regular normal kills as well. And you can see I got 3.18 billion GP. So I think that was an increase of about 1 billion GP just in the last 250 kill count. And a lot of that's attributed to all the deck scrolls and then, you know, a couple claws and stuff. So really just rolling in money here, just rolling in extra GP. But when you play Iron Man, that doesn't really matter. I really just want to get the T-bow and the Ancestral Top. And we're going to keep going. I might slow down a little bit, like I said, because I'm going to try doing some other stuff in game. I actually have something really fun planned too that I'm going to try to release a video on in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Might be in the lane of doing the most budget Deathless CM setup ever, but we'll see how that goes. And then last thing, I want to talk about some of the stats here. So with this 1,000 kill count, now including both my normals and my CMs, I am now at 65.85 million CoX points, which is a lot of points. And I have now gotten a total of 70 purples, as you can see from my collection log. And the expected purples at my kill count and points is 75.9. So I'm actually 5.9 purples behind expected, which kind of sucks, but that's all right. And then my chance of T-bow by now is 88.9%. So again, that means that if 1,000 people do as much CoX as I have, 889 of them will have the T-bow. So I am one of the unlucky, I guess, 111 people that would not have it by now, which really sucks, but we're just gonna keep going and pushing forward. Another really shitty stat that's kind of depressing is that Actually, at my CoX points, there is only 1 in 85 people will be missing both a T-bow and full ancestral. So I'm getting super fucked on the full ancestral as well as the T-bow. It's kind of wild. I'm going basically, you know, bottom 1% luck at CoX, which is probably the worst place in the game to go dry. But I'm still committed to the Iron Man game mode. I'm still going to stick it out, and I am going to keep going and get 2,000 solo CMs with the Bofa and Trident if that's what I have to do. So yeah, we're going to keep pushing. You know, please like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing my content. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I stream occasionally, mostly CMs, and like I said, I'm going to try branching out a little, maybe try doing Desert Treasure 2 and doing some Vardorvis occasionally, but still going to focus on CMs and keep going, and hopefully we'll get some good news before too long. But I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate the support, and have a good one.